Who thinks it's going to be more difficult? Who's done single-handed shooting before?
Good, excellent. And then work it back to the holster. Alright, sweet.
It's a difficult skill, and why? Because I've lost potentially more than 50% of my grip. My support hand does a lot more work than my dominant hand in terms of interfacing with the gun.
Yeah.
Alright, there's no psychopaths in the class, which is great. And now this is a Southside Chicago.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, there it is. You got it now?
Yeah.
We'll try that again. You know, I'm most conducive in that natural count.
Yeah.
So I'm getting into that. This is only stuff you can do in training. You have to build your lowest level of training to reflect what you are going to do subconsciously, especially in a gunfight.
Now we are here with Ed, who is a full-time instructor here at the Sig Sauer Academy. And he's going to walk us through some low light training. So I know that term low light may be obvious to some, but not so obvious to others. Ed, just explain what the purpose of low light training is and why the average everyday firearm carrier would find this valuable.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, in a defensive or any other context, insert your context, you don't get to decide when your tools are being used, right? So we're talking about low light, we're talking about the ability to illuminate and PID, positively identify what we need to be shooting at, right?
Yeah.
So that's my take on it. I think any defensive firearm needs to have the ability to illuminate what I intend to be shooting at.
Absolutely. All right. So when you teach this course, what platforms are you utilizing for this?
Yes. Okay. So we have the 320 here. So the full size 320, modular in nature. So this is the full size with the 4.7-inch barrel. The flashlight we're running is the new Romeo Foxtrot 2R. Really capable flashlight. You can see the size of it. You know, no underbite. The biggest thing with using those flashlights on a subcompact frame or a smaller slide, you know, we're getting a lot of that carbon buildup on the front of the optic here that quickly diminishes the output of what the light's looking to do. So,
and we're practicing outside the waistband?
yeah, so outside the waistband today, yeah, so, you know, pick and choose whether insert your context when this is going to be. The time to don my gear, maybe not, you know, World War III might be around the corner, we don't know. So, yeah. It's all skills that we can apply these skills in terms of the fundamental use of applying this. Principles to any platform I'm looking to do, whether it be rifle, whether it be shotgun, whether it be concealed, you know, it's all applicable to whatever situation.
Cool.
Hell yeah.
I'm ready to learn, man.
So we're going to talk about handheld techniques and we're going to talk about pistol mounted techniques, right? So the handheld techniques, we're going to be utilizing the Sig Sauer Foxtrot EDC, super capable flashlight. I think these things are running 1,350 lumen and 30,000 candela in a super small compact package. So we're going to show you my ability to have an illuminate with my non-dominant hand and still be able to shoot with my dominant hand as a single-handed technique, and then we'll show you different techniques as double-handed to get as much stability in the gun and trying to extract as much performance out of the gun as possible. Recognizing if my hand is being utilized as my support hand, something else, there's only a limited amount of application and grip I can get onto the gun, and that's maybe where we'll start to transfer into what the pros of the pistol mounted is, right? Being able to get a full master grip on the gun and really get as minimal time off target, creating more opportunities to shoot, right? Because that's the aim of the game, right? Is to stop the threat before it stops me, right?
Yes. Right. Who thinks it's going to be more difficult? Who's done single-handed shooting before?
I mean, I've done it, but it's not well.
Yeah, right. It's a difficult skill, and why? Because I've lost potentially more than 50% of my grip. I'll tell you right now, my support hand does a lot more work than my dominant hand in terms of interfacing with the gun.
Yeah.
If I've taken that away, I'm instantly losing potentially more than 50% of my interface on the gun, right?
Yeah.
That's what we're really going to delve into now with single-handed shooting. So I'd like everybody to just draw your gun, see the stability in your optic, what that information is telling you, and then remove your support hand. Do we suddenly get a little bit more movement in the shot?
Yeah.
Right, that's obvious, right? Okay. All right, but now what we're trying to do is we're not even got recoil yet. What do you think is going to happen to recoil when we start to shoot?
It's going to be way less manageable.
Right, absolutely, yeah. I'm going to get more time off target, creating less opportunities to shoot, okay? All right, so who felt when they took the support hand away, there's a little bit of tension in their upper body?
Yeah, it went way right.
Yeah, you
left,
felt that,
sorry,
right?
yeah.
I've lost my shooter's triangle now. Potentially the gun will favor a certain direction that I'm allowing it to go now, right? So entertain me for a second. I want everybody now to shake it out, shake your arms out. I want you to ring an imaginary doorbell for me. All right, there's no psychopaths in the class, which is great. Okay, so everybody got a little bit of a natural cant to their hand there, right? Okay, what is that? That's my biomechanics. That's my biomechanics.
Yeah.
So
That's not natural.
That's not natural, exactly. Yeah. If we're there and our support hand is forcing us into a position and take it away, by virtue of the biomechanics, the way I am pinching in my shoulders and my elbows and my wrists, wants to put me in that sort of a natural can. And now this isn't Southside Chicago. Right? There's levels of performance we can get from that, but there is some validity to having some natural cant in our arms that we can translate into the gun. Just draw your guns out for me, and then go into that natural cant of that ringing that doorbell that you find comfortable. Are you still able to get a sight picture on your target?
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's way more steady too.
You find it more steady, probably by virtue of being more comfortable as well, right? You're putting less tension in your upper body to fight that, so that might be a real thing too. There's a byproduct of that. Okay?
Yeah.
And then when we go live, you get the opportunity to see what that recoil impulse is changing for you. Yeah, and experiment with it as well. See what Southside Chicago looks like, and then see what natural can looks like, right? Because there'll be a point where that natural cant turns into extra muscular tension by rolling the gun.
Yeah, if you go too far, your wrist is having to
100%.
work it. So it's like right in there for me.
Yeah, there is, and that's what we call it, the natural cant there, right? I'll give you a quick demonstration of what we're looking for. So I'm going to get two hands on the gun, okay? And I'm going to bring that down to here, and I'm going to change nothing. Nothing in terms of my elbow placement, nothing in terms of my hand placement, and I'm ready to go from there. Eyes and ears, good to go?
Good.
Okay, so I'll do that one more time. So two hands on the gun, I'm going to remove that. I'm going to do a 5-round string, and I'm going to analyze that information through my optic. Awesome, and I'm in a position to continue to shoot if I needed to, right? So for me, I'm getting some element of repeatability in my dot. I'm using that dot as a diagnostic tool to figure if that was working for me. That's one of the biggest selling points for the red dot, is what that dot is telling me during recoil, right? You can see that flash of red. So for me right there, the dot was coming up about here and straight back down for each of those shots, okay? And then the accuracy is just in relation to me pressing that trigger from front to rear without inducing more movement. But I'm telling you, I'm seeing a lot of movement in the dot before the shot's even broken. Is that normal? 100%! I've lost more than 50% of the support to the gun, right? So that's the first method I'd like to try. Okay, the second method is going to be that natural cant. Okay, so I'm just going to bring that gun slightly inboard, okay, to capitalize on that natural ability for me to be comfortable, right? And I'm going to see what that recoil impulse looks like for me as well. And I want you to watch me. I want you to watch the direction of the gun this time. So I'm going to come into that natural cant. Where do you see the muzzle go there?
It was more at a 30 degree.
Right, because I'm giving the gun somewhere to go at that point, right? Okay, so for me, again, it was repeatable for me. It's tracking in and out. But for you guys, you might see the dot going all sorts of different directions. That might be telling you information that this might not be a technique that's working for me, or if I don't like the repeatability in that sight center, I can do something, which is what can I do if I don't like that?
Crank it down.
Torque my elbow down to force that 12 o'clock position. So I look a little bit like this for this last one, okay? So I'm gonna come out, get my hands here, go to natural cant, and then just reverse engineer. What happens to the gun when I torque my elbow down? But where is the gun in relation to my face now?
A little closer.
A little closer, right? So it's gonna happen. As long as it's not here, you're good to go. It might work once and you're gonna get a Right, so it's absolutely fine. So being from here and then torquing the elbow. Okay, and that's absolutely fine for me. So I found, for me on that one personally, I'm seeing a little bit more omnidirectional travel now, right? You may have heard it in the split time between each of the shots. I take more time to get that dot back to where it needs to be. So that's telling me information that this solution might not be working for me. Okay, based on how I shot then, I'll tell you. Personally, I like the natural cant, but that's for you guys to figure out on your own journey from there. Okay. You guys want to give it a go?
Yeah.
Awesome, right, so we'll get to the 5-yard line. All right, gents, we'll do this together. Okay, so I'd like you to draw guns. Two hands are in play. Two hands are in play. Draw the gun. Let's load up that first magazine at 20. There we go. Cover now against your best two-handed grip. So draw the gun, get that best two-handed grip you've got. All I want you to do is remove your support hand. If you want to simulate using a handheld flashlight, that's absolutely fine. Okay, and I want you to, when I call the line hot, fire a string of 5 rounds, paying attention to the information that dot is telling you under recoil. Okay, line is hot, go ahead. Good, outstanding. All right, check fingers, check holsters. Let's work it back to the holster. All right, can everyone see that red dot as a diagnostic tool?
Yeah.
Everyone track down that. All right, so now what do we do now? We do the same exercise, but now with that natural cant.
Okay.
All right, guys, so let's draw guns. Let's get that natural cant. Line is hot. Go ahead. Good, excellent. Then work it back to the holster. Good. So I'm seeing a few shaking of heads there. It's like, nah, that did not work.
Between shots 1 and 2, I couldn't even find it.
Okay, all right, that's telling you information, right?
Yeah.
So maybe your grip is changing. Maybe that recoil impulse is so inconsistent that it's making it difficult to set. And so maybe now forcing the issue and torquing the elbow down to force that recoil impulse to that 12 o'clock position might help. All right, guys, so I'd like you to draw a gun. Just get into that natural count for me. Okay, now torque the elbow to the ground. When you're ready, a 5-round string. Line us up. Good, excellent. And then work it back to the holster. All right, sweet.
I was opposite of what I thought I would be.
Okay.
I thought the natural cant would be best for me. And it started out okay, but the last 3 rounds were very low.
Okay.
The tucking my elbow, I think, is the best feel for me.
Perfect, man. Perfect.
I mean, it feels weird to do it,
Yes.
but my impulse was better.
Right.
Yeah, the cant also did not work for me. Like I expected it to, because this whole concept we talked about.
Right.
It didn't really play out for me. I think the first method was most natural for me. I had the least amount of red dot movement.
Yeah.
But it's also interesting. I try to relax when I shoot. I have a tendency to over grip, squeeze too hard.
Okay, yeah.
But I did notice that on the 3rd round, I did increase my grip a little bit, and it was much more stable.
Yeah,
So it's one of those elements I shouldn't have changed like halfway through, but I would like to see how it plays returning to the first method.
So, humans are not very good at doing multiple things at once. If I'm getting this very deliberate passage of light onto my threat, okay, and I'm now thinking about doing other things with my gun, what starts to happen over here? Now my usable light starts to become less usable, right? I'm not doing the job I need to be able to do, right? So this often becomes what we call into the modified FBI, which is where the light starts to come a little bit more center line because I'm more controlled into what I'm doing. Okay, so this is a great technique if you're in the 1950s. All right, now in the 21st century, we start to think about the modified FBI by bringing that down center line. Okay, a little bit more center line, but still being able to have usable light and allowing the light to do what it needs to do. I'm going to potentially be searching, right? We know on a static range that I have threats and I can see what's going on, right? But I'm potentially using this handheld flashlight as a searching light, okay? And then Tracy's going to call threat for me. As soon as I have established that this person is a threat, okay, I'm going to dominate him with light. I'm going to completely reset his OODA loop by getting the light where it needs to be, obviously in the face, right? Okay. Then it allows me to draw my gun and work into my single-headed techniques to deliver how many rounds it takes to stop the threat. Is everyone good at that?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to be in a position here. Gun's not out because we're not in a gunfight yet. So I'm potentially searching around, waiting for that threat call. Threat! I get a threat here. Dominate with light, and then I'm drawing out. And I'm coming from here. And I'm ready to go. I'm analyzing what I've done through myself. Do I need to shoot again? Okay, so stop that threat, but work with my light the entire time.
In his face.
In his face, right? And reset. And he's going to be moving around. That's going to be a real thing too. That's where this temporal index can help as well. Wherever my eyes go, my head tends to go as well, followed by my light. And that's allowing me to go from there, right? Look at the usable light now. Even though I'm dominating his face with light, what else can I see?
Pretty much everything.
I can see absolutely everything based on the characteristics of what the light you're giving me. You've got that beam, you have that lux, you have the throw of that candela. So that's where that 33,000 candela starts to pay its dividends, right? I'm getting the throw where it needs to be, but that residual light, that cone effect that's still giving me usable light to establish what's going on from there. Is everyone tracking on that?
Yeah.
So I want to give you the opportunity to do that. So I'll give you one more demo, what we're looking for. Searching, we're searching. I'm waiting for that call. Threat! Get that threat, dominate. Analyzing what I need to do. To stop the threat, I'm in a position to. You'll see, where did I immediately go to when I drew my gun? What's the position, what's my arm position here? For me, it's that natural count, so I've built my lowest level of training to force myself into a position I know I can shoot the best. I know I'm most conducive in that natural count, so I'm getting into that position because I know that's where I'm going to get the best results. Is that making sense, guys?
Yep.
This is only stuff you can do in training. You have to build your lowest level of training to reflect what you are going to do subconsciously, especially in a gunfight, right?
Yeah.
When that inoculation starts to get a little bit more, a little more wary. But is everyone good with that?
Yeah.
Awesome, right? Let's go with the 5-yard line, guys. Okay, so I want you now to use either the FBI technique, that modified FBI technique, or that temporal index to start to search around. Maybe try different reps with different techniques and see what works for you. Okay, can you see that though, how 3 lights can start to mask what we're looking to get away from there? Yeah, it's a little forgiving. Okay, so we're searching. We're searching around, taking in our world, we've got a bump in the night, whatever it is. And eventually we're going to get a threat call. So dominate and then fire. Alright, good. We can go flights off, because we've established we've done the work we need to do.
Alright, yeah, I screwed that one up. So, my light was really getting into my sight, and I couldn't see my dot very well.
So you can see the importance now of having your brightness setting on your dot to overpower that overpowering light, which is absolutely a realistic thing to happen, right? Okay, if I'm using a temporal index back here where it's closer to my eye line, or therefore closer to my optic, the likelihood of drowning that red light out is huge, is massive. That's another potentially a selling point for getting some sort of an offset from your gun, because I'm not drowning out that light. So we give the opportunity, and we saw it there, right?
Yeah, the shots are the last three were at the edge of the paper.
Right, and it might not be stopping the threat. So I'd like to give you the opportunity now, and I did that delivery. I want you guys to see what I need to change, because guess what? Now you'll never do it again. Now you will have your brightness set, knowing the conditions that need to be set for the job I need to do. So when you take the time now just to have a look at those optics, get back in that position with that white light, okay, and see what brightness that dot needs to be at to be successful, for me to get a side picture on my target to let me know the orientation of that muzzle. If it's super dim, then maybe we can start to brighten those dots up a little bit. So on your left-hand side of the optics, guys, there's a couple of arrows. There's an up arrow and a down arrow, obviously, without insulting your intelligence. Brighten or dim the
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, there it is. You got it now? Awesome.
Yeah.
So we'll try that again. Are you good there, bud?
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, guys, let's work it back to the holster. Yeah, let me get my umbrella lying back out. Okay, let's get our handhelds out for searching. Okay, again, as many rounds as you see fit to drop the threat when I give you the call. Stand by.
So a weird thing I noticed once I got the dot fixed, because I'm concentrating so hard on keeping this on his face, I was shooting him in the face versus center mass.
Oh, you deliberately weren't aiming for that. That's interesting, man. Yeah, because your usable light, typically your eyes are going to be driven to that hotspot. Okay, guys, so that's a very, very quick spin up on handheld techniques, right? So we're using a handheld technique by virtue of not having my support hand to do the job. I need to extract as much performance out of the gun. Talked a lot about time off target, talked the limitations of single-handed shooting. Now I want to think about how can I extract as much performance out of the gun and still have usable light onto my threat. Okay, and here enters the pistol-mounted flashlight. What fingers do you think I'm going to be using to activate the
support thumb.
100%, right? Okay, it's going to allow me to get full interface on the gun, my support hand and my dominant hand on the gun, and only a very slight modification. So on these Foxtrot 2Rs, as a right-handed shooter, I'm going to use my left thumb, my support thumb, to put downwards pressure on the switch. And this is a momentary switch. So as soon as I let go, it's going to kill my light, which for me, I'm a big fan of that, because if I get a malfunction, if I go to slide lock, if I get something that's inherently that I need to fix with the gun, I don't want to advertise the fact that I'm out the gunfight. I want to go dark, I want to change position, I want to fix the problem, and then re-illuminate and finish the task I'm doing. So we've got that high ready position, we're not muzzling anything we don't need to until we have to. Stand by. Back to the holster form. This is why we do this now. We are training for this because I need to know how my gear is going to work for me if I had to do it for real.
Right.
Awesome. Right, let's go one more time. Let's roll those guns. Right. You guys cool with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Can you guys see the value of having two hands on the gun now?
Yes.
Right. How little time off target are we getting?
Yeah, very little. Like
hugely
huge
different. Right? Yeah. So I would say everyone says, "Oh, you're going to get double the time off target with single hand." I would say bullshit to that. I'm saying I'm losing more than 50% of my grip by losing my support hand. Right. So as soon as I can instill that grip back into its master grip, I'm minimizing my time off target, creating more opportunities to shoot to inevitably to get more rounds to stop the threat in a short amount of time.
And you're not doing two things at once. Like that's everything's streamlined, you know, and it's far easier that way.
Cool. I'll say thoughts. What do you think?
Yeah, it's great, man.
Yeah.
It was great. I learned a bit, and what I think is cool about what I learned in this training is this could easily be done at home, dry fire. You know what I mean? So, because let's face it, like the crap goes down sometimes in the dark. I mean, you got to know how to manipulate a flashlight or use a weapons-mounted flashlight, and you can just set up something in your home and dry fire and get that muscle memory and that subconscious stuff down. Yeah.
Awesome. Cool.
Fantastic.
Very cool, man. Awesome. Great job.
All right, we're gonna close things out. Ed, thank you, man. Seriously, appreciate you. So,
Yeah.
I know that was just the tip of the iceberg, right? Like what you guys offer here, there's much more in-depth techniques to explore, right? I also know that there's a wide variety of firearms out there and a wide variety of firearms enthusiasts.
Yeah.
Hunters and competitive shooters and the EDC guys. Me personally, like I find this stuff the most interesting because, I mean, let's be honest, I'm probably not going to be like shooting billy goats from one mountaintop to another anytime soon. Some guys do that, it's just not me, but I am an EDC guy, and I do think that the most likely scenarios for me to encounter is going to be a low light situation in the event of an intruder in my home, and I now feel more prepared than ever, so thank you for that. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
I've never done anything like this. Have you, Brandon?
Not to this level.
Right.
I've done some pistol training at like gun clubs and stuff like that. I'm not gonna say they were not good, but
It's just not this.
This is different.
Yeah.
This is different. Like seriously. So check out the academy. They got a ton of training opportunities, from long guns all the way down to stuff like we're doing here. You know, something that could happen in your home. So training's a big deal, and good training's a big deal, and this is where it's at. I'm telling you. And we're gonna do some more later after we.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
So,
It's my pleasure, man.
yeah, man. I really enjoyed that.
Cool.
All right. We've got more to explore.